Hello, welcome to the energetic forecast for the week of August 5th through 11th. There are going to be some profound shifts and changes that are happening this week, and it will peak all the way into August 14th. So I'm titling this Retrograde Recovery because we are about to enter into a Mercury retrograde season. So I'm going to go ahead and share my slide and we will start getting into it. Give me one moment. See. Okay. Make this big for you. Okay, here we go. Well, let's get started. All right, so my name is Desiree de Lunae. I'm an acupuncturist, herbalist, and astrologer. If you love this kind of content, please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell so that you're notified every time a new video is available to you. I'm doing these every week so that you know what is coming up, what you're dealing with, and what to expect. And it can really influence the way that you make plans as well, just so that you are on the winning side of these energies. Okay, so let's just start off with just our basics. And today is a big day. Monday's a big day. This is a day that Mercury goes into retrograde, and it's going to be in retrograde until around August 27th. But first things first, let's just dive into our sun and our moon. Our sun is still in the season of Leo, which is in a fire sign. This is its ideal place. So there's a lot more confidence here. There's a lot more, activity. There's passion and excitement, enthusiasm. And your moon is sitting here right near the sun. This is our one day that it's going to be here with Leo. So that just elevates and enhances our feelings about connection and generosity and warm-heartedness and playfulness and fun. So with the sun and the moon here, we're getting a double dose of Leo. So this is a time to really just enjoy your relationships and enjoy the warmth and the connection and the intimacy that you have. I mean, this is very common in summer season. We're going to be hitting summer with Leo every year. And this is about passion and warmth and generosity and love and just embracing one another. So take advantage of this configuration on Monday because, I will say as we move into the rest of this month in August, we're going to step into some more contentious energies. So be playful, have fun, all right? Enjoy this last little bit of fun here. We do have also Mars in a nice sextile to Mars. We're going to be talking about this a little bit later, this Mars-Jupiter conjunction that's coming up, but this is going to bring a lot of, again, vitality and energy. You might physically feel stronger and capable and able to do things that require a bit more physical strength and activity. Also, just going to feel more confident between your sun and Leo, and also it's communicating with Mars. There's a lot more bravery. There's a lot more courage. There's a lot more confidence, and just feeling like, wow, you can handle things. You can really handle a lot. Okay, so another one that's really nice is because, look, these are really close together. We also have a sextile to Jupiter, and Jupiter brings optimism. It brings a lot of luck and positivity too, and also feelings of generosity. So if you're feeling extra generous today, there's multiple indicators for this: the sun and the moon, as well as this, communication between the moon and Jupiter. So if you feel like, having some really fun, like exciting, luxurious, splurging moments as you're going out with your friends and family, do so. It's on your side. Okay, now we do have one little bit of a challenge with the moon. Moon is in square with Uranus. So this can bring like some, changeable feelings and emotions, maybe some mood swings, rapid mood swings could happen, being a little bit more impulsive. There's a lot of positive things happening with the moon, so I'm not too concerned about that, but it's a possibility, okay? So maybe things that require a lot of focus and commitment is not going to be the time to do that. Your moon is going to be moody here with that conversation that it's having with Uranus. And also moon is pretty close to Mercury. It's 8 degrees away, but when we have that kind of connection here, Mercury is very quick moving too, and same with Moon. So there's a lot of changeability. So you might be like excited about something one second and then not into it the next. So that's going to be normal here. But with the Moon also next to Venus, this is going to also increase your desire to be with your friends, to be with your partner, to just have some really great times and some maybe go on some adventures with your friends and your love partner, for example. Okay, so the big thing we need to talk about that is going to be affecting us for majority of this month is this Mercury in retrograde. And I will say Mercury is in a really good location though. It's in its home sign. Mercury rules Virgo. So it's sitting here in Virgo. When we see this like red color of this fourth degree 4, this means that this planet is in retrograde. So it appears like it's moving backwards. It's not actually moving backwards, but because of the way the orbit is, it looks like it's going backwards. So okay, now Mercury is that planet of communication. Okay, it's also about traveling. So talking, thinking, and getting around is what this planet rules. So with this in Virgo, our thinking is going to be a bit more on the logical, analytical side. It's going to be more practical in nature. It is more strategic in nature. It's very methodical and careful and goes through the details. So here, there's a lot of mental activity. You're digesting a ton of information here with Mercury and Virgo. So it's more stimulating the mind. And with this here, it can, when it's on overdrive, or especially like when it's in retrograde, right? There may be just over obsessing over details or just hyper analyzing to a ridiculous degree, like just overthinking situations, problems, etc. So worry could be something that's a bit more heightened. Worry, just kind of excessive rumination over a particular problem, situation, a conversation you had. So just like beating it to death by overanalyzing is essentially what I'm saying. Now, because it's in retrograde, look, we have to slow down. We have to slow down. Like, and even slow down the overthinking too. And I'm going to actually provide some essential oils towards the end of this video, so stay tuned, and I'm going to give you a blend. We're calling it Retrograde Recovery, just to help you with digesting and not over rumination, okay, and moving on. Like let's pick it apart. Yes, I get it. It's important to go through the details, but we don't have to go through it 8, 9, 15 more times is essentially what we want to prevent here. But there will be some like maybe overlooking of some important details, maybe like, losing files or not putting in the data correctly. So this is a time where you do want to slow down and make sure that all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted. This is not a really great time for contracts, for example, because there could be some issues or problems that you'd have to go over and revisit. But whenever there's a retrograde situation happening, you want to reassess, reevaluate, right? Revisit. A lot of the re's get involved. So take your time through things, and I'm going to give you again some essential oils to help you to deal with the over obsessing, over analyzing, or not enough of it, like where you are not paying attention to what's needed, like the details that you need to look at. So we don't want you to miss or overlook anything as well. The thing with this Mercury retrograde, though, is that it is aspected in a lot of harsh ways throughout this month. So not only is Mercury going to be dealing with its own challenges, travel plans that are disrupted, so just a lot of misunderstandings, but with the way that it's aspected, there's a lot of like difficult energies that are adding to the retrograde. Is That's what makes it really hard for this retrograde season. It's not like a very easy breezy type of Mercury retrograde. Okay, so just make sure that you review things. It may not be a time to like launch major projects, especially that involve a lot of details. So don't launch major things during this time, or sign major contracts during this time. So all right, so let's talk about some of the other aspects here. We have Mercury conjunct the planet of Venus right here, and Mercury is this purple planet, by the way. Now this, I said, remember, you're gonna be wanting this connection and developing your relationships, but just be cautious in the way that you're communicating and expressing. Kind of take a moment before you say something and make sure that it's received in the right way. But also when you are like digesting a conversation, like analyzing a conversation, with this retrograde, you may like interpret a conversation or what they're saying. You might interpret it in a way that it isn't actually true and accurate. Again, that's why we want to use these essential oils to make sure that you are accurately hearing things, because with Mercury in retrograde, you might not be hearing things as it is being delivered, or what is intended, or what is really meant. So be cautious of this, okay? Now, another conjunction I do want to talk about that's very important, that is going to peak on August 14th, is over here, is Mars and Jupiter. And Mars and Jupiter, they are both in the sign of Gemini. And Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Gemini is an air sign. So Gemini has to do with also the way that we think, how we're thinking, the way that we express ourselves, the way that we communicate, the way that we talk. And we have two, pretty intense planets here. We have Mars and Jupiter. And as the days pass, all the way to August 14th, they are going to start getting closer together. So like on Tuesday, they're going to be 4 degrees apart. On Wednesday, they're going to be 3 degrees apart. Okay. On Saturday, they're going to be 2 degrees apart. So as you can see, they're starting to like inch their way in and get closer. So let me go back to Monday. So they're only 5 degrees apart right now, and we're already feeling its influence. Remember, anything within about 10 degrees, you're going to start feeling it. And so Mars is about, it's the god of war, right? So it's about aggression and violence and tension and conflict and frustration and arguments and disagreements. And then we have, there's other positive things too. It is about passion and ambition and willpower and drive and, initiative, action, getting things going and started. And then we have Jupiter here, which is a gigantic planet. It expands things. Whatever it's near, it just makes it grow and makes it bigger and amplifies it like 100 times more than it actually is. It also brings a lot of opportunity and luck and growth and things like that. So when we have Mars and Jupiter together, I mean, we are really expanding here what's going on with Mars. Now, some of our conversations and our thinking could be a little bit more hostile, so that hostility can be expanded. That fiery energy, that aggression as well, and assertiveness. Assertiveness is the positive side. I will say, like, if you're trying to argue a point, or a debate or a negotiation, something like that, you're gonna be quite feisty about it and have your points ready, but also be very, very passionate in what you believe. That's another thing about Jupiter here. This has to do with our belief system, our spirituality, our philosophy on life. And so people may get a bit more passionate about their beliefs, maybe even a bit more aggressive and violent about their beliefs. I think of like holy wars was what came to mind with this combination. Now, obviously, this is not like political channel by any means, but you can definitely see hostility out there, and a lot of like fighting for what certain groups feel and believe about. So that's most likely going to get amplified as we move into August 14th. But, on a collective level, like we're probably going to be just more and more passionate about our beliefs and our values, for example, and being very verbal and expressive about it, because all of this is happening, I guess, as I was saying, in Gemini, which is a sign of communication and self-expression and talking and technology. We've had some technological issues that have happened out in the world globally, so this could be even more, heightened and expanded. And as well as just, earthquakes, for example, fires, wildfires. I do record this a week prior. So as of now, there's a lot of wildfires out in California that is becoming quickly one of the largest fires that they've had in the history of California's fires. So as you can see, this can be quite a volatile combination, especially as they're getting closer and peaking in August 14th. Now, there could be some positive things to it as well, like lucky action, fortunate action, opportunities that are becoming available to you, fortunate, opportunities that finally have just come upon you. So there is that for sure. Or just your knowledge and wisdom of something and understanding is really expanding, and you're expanding your learning on a particular subject matter. One thing you can do is take a look and see what part of your chart this is impacting. Now, if you haven't seen my video on how to look up your birth chart, then I'll link it here in the cards so that you can go and see what house that this is sitting in. I'm actually a Virgo rising, so this setup is, in terms of like the numbers, is actually my setup. And 10th house, just to give you an example, this is career. So I have a lot of activity happening in the career part of my chart. So I'm going to encourage you to go look up like what part of your chart, where is Gemini sitting, okay? And then where is Gemini sitting in your chart, and what is the number that is there? And this is the area of your life that it's impacted. So these energies of like Mars and Jupiter that I just outlined is going to be impacting, what number that is. That's the area of your life. So comment below, let me know like what part of your chart, what number, what house. When I say what number, that's saying what house is it in? What house is this impacting you? And then I can let you know like, okay, what area of your life is that impacting? So do that when you get a chance. But anyways, to continue on, this is going to obviously be present with us all week, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it on next week's forecast when we start hitting like the peak of it as well. Another one I wanted to mention is this communication between Saturn. So Saturn is this like kind of maroon red planet. It looks like an H with a line over it, and then it is in square, okay, in square. So this is 18 degrees of Saturn in square with 15 degrees of Jupiter. Now, that's going to be around for a bit, about till September 15th, and this is going to be a little bit of a challenging aspect. And this is like you're driving with like the handbrake on. So because that's the thing with Saturn. Saturn brings like delays, it brings challenges, it brings hardships. So there's going to be like your faith in the matter, because the Jupiter has to deal with faith. It's going to get tested. So whatever you're into or you have been into for a while, this is where the obstacles are going to come in. This is where your endurance and your devotion and dedication is going to get tested. You might be asking yourself at times like, why am I even doing this? So it's not, I don't want to say it's like a bad thing. I think it's a good thing because it makes us stretch and grow, and it really helps us to weed out. Because that's the thing with Saturn, it cuts out the excess, it cuts out the unnecessary, it cuts out the waste. So maybe there are some parts of what you're doing that you've got just too much excess going on and it needs to be thinned out and needs to be eliminated. And so Saturn will bring that for us. And it brings a lot of responsibility too, and taking care of, this idea that we've been working on. Like I can see this being, um, with it being in Gemini, it's our thinking, right? So it's our ideas. So some of our ideas are going to get really like expanded because of Jupiter here. And maybe like, you're putting the gas on and really trying to rev things up with Mars there. But then you have Saturn that is going to give you a little bit of, hardships and maybe some reality checks around this idea that you have, and even maybe some like boundaries and borders around this idea so it doesn't get so out of hand as well. So this is, again, it's going to be around till September 15th, I believe. Yeah, around September 15th. Okay, so these are the main energies of Monday, but a lot of this stuff is going to be continuing on, and I've mentioned some dates, but all week. A lot of these influences are going to be happening all week. The Mercury retrograde is going to be happening all week, of course, and it ends August 27th. And then this combination here peaks on August, the Mars and Jupiter peaks on August 14th, but it's still going to be, within the orb for some days after that as well. Our sun will stay in Leo, and our moon is the one that changes and moves a lot. And our Mercury is going to stay in Virgo for the rest of this week. So let's continue on and talk about Tuesday. Now, Tuesday, sun is still in Leo, but our moon, take a look at what happened to our moon. Our moon has now moved into Virgo, and it is conjunct, meaning it is together with Mercury. It's only 4 degrees away. It's only 4 degrees. So they're very, very close together. You have also Venus right here too. One aspect about Virgo to know about, and especially since the moon is here, is that Virgo is very, very caring. It's an earth sign, right? And it really cares about service and it being practical too, practical service, something that is helping. It loves to help others. And with Venus there, that's only going to be heightened here in this moon Mercury, and Venus is going to want to just take care of others, take care of the people in our lives, or just be more, just kind and considerate towards humanity overall. So it's very loving, but it is also, again, analytical and practical. So the kind of service that it gives, it's like helping somebody clean their house if they're not able to because they're not well, or maybe cook for them because their friend has going through a hard time, and just bringing some meals. So it's going to be very, very nurturing in that way, but also very grounded and very practical in that way. So um the moon is also going to be striving for perfection, so that perfectionism is a real thing with Virgo sign. And look, we've got 3 planets here in Virgo, so wanting to make things perfect, wanting to really like dive into the details of something and making sure that it is the best of the best of the best, which then can lead to that obsessive worrying and over analyzing, tipping on that end as well. So there's just going to be more heightened, and then we have that Mercury retrograde. So make sure that you always, with this retrograde, just reevaluate and revisit things, what you're thinking, what you're feeling too. Even though moon here is going to be more on the mind side, more on just like wanting to sift and sort through a ton of information. But always, always with this retrograde, just take a little time. Make sure that what you're thinking and feeling is accurate to the situation and the circumstance. And this is why I like to use things like essential oils, because how do you do that, right? I mean, even though I say that, like sometimes it's hard to, if you're already clouded in your thinking, it's hard to break out of that cloud. And that, again, is the intention of using tools, especially tools that come from the earth, that help us to basically like break down that cloud and dissolve that cloud when it is there. All right, so let's talk about some of the aspects to the moon, because do you see how it's having lots of conversations here? We do have moon square with Mars. So Mars, remember, on the difficult side, can bring a lot of arguments and tension and conflicts. So with Mercury in retrograde, be careful what you say when you are mad. When you're mad, when you are upset, when you're frustrated, when you're irritated, because we don't want to be, regretting the things that we say and hurting the people that we love and care about. Okay. So, yeah, that's the one thing we need to be cautious about. Your moon is also square Jupiter, because look, these are so close together. And this one will typically bring like that bubbly, outgoing sensations and feelings. However, Jupiter is very indulgent. And even the moon could be quite indulgent. So there could be some, carelessness here, no self discipline, really like indulging yourself. So not really like having forethought and considering the future could happen with this square kind of interaction. We do have also the moon. I already talked about those other ones. Never mind. So those are going to be the most challenging one. I already talked about Mercury and Virgo. So that's our moon on Tuesday. And then all the other things are the same. Let's go into Wednesday. Our moon is still in Virgo, but it has shifted to 20 degrees versus here on Tuesday, it was at 8 degrees. And we still have that's actually, it's moving kind of away from Mercury and Venus, but it's still in Virgo. Our difficult thing is, again, moon is going to be squared with Mars as well. I'm sorry, with Jupiter. So that is that lack of forethought, no self-discipline, being a little bit more careless this day. And then our really challenging aspect is Moon and Saturn. They are in opposition. You'll see the red line and it looks like a barbell in the middle. Saturn's over here that looks like the age. And remember, Saturn can bring like those also hardships and delays and challenges. It can bring loneliness and sadness and feeling really isolated. You know how like Saturn cuts away things, so it can cut away people and make us just feel very alone, or not seen or not valued and not appreciated. So the moon's going to need a little bit of support here. And then we do have moon trine. It's a positive one, moon trine Uranus. This one is going to possibly make us a bit more adventurous. So maybe going on an adventure by yourself would be a nice experience for Wednesday. Something different, something a little exciting, something that just feels very freeing for you. Because Uranus has to do with feeling freedom and also just being very independent and doing something eccentric, something again different that's out of the box. So going on an adventure on your own, or learning something, because this whole mental activity that's happening everywhere, learning something different, learning something new that is maybe even a little taboo that you haven't ever embarked upon. Okay, so it will bring some open-mindedness. Now let's go into Thursday. Our moon has now transitioned over to Libra, and Libra is more into beauty and harmony and peace. So it's going to be a bit more tranquil here than it was over here when it was in Virgo with everything going on with the Mercury in retrograde. But it's going to want to again be with people to and create like peace, stillness, harmony. Those are the things that the moon wants right now. But exposing yourself to art and beauty, or beautifying your space, your home or a room, that will go a long way for you. Now, with moon in opposition to Neptune, so we have this moon opposition to Neptune. there could be a lot of confusion and just not having clarity about something, about your feelings too, like how you're feeling about a person or a situation. It's clouded, you're not quite sure, it's a little bit nebulous. Even like some of your intuition and like psychic hits that you get might feel like you're not sure about them. So this is a time where it's just murky. How about that? Like your feelings are a little bit more murky and unclear. Maybe even your intuition feels clouded as well. So just know that this is upon us. And since it is, like, I wouldn't make major determinations about, your intuition. There are just some times where intuition is like super sharp and clear, and then times where it's not. I mean, granted, we do have this trine between the moon and Uranus, and that does bring some clear intuition many times. But with this opposition with Neptune, I would just kind of hold off in making any kind of determinations, or because your moods are probably going to be a little bit here and there and everywhere just from this week. So I would wait just a little bit to make a decision about how you feel about something, if that makes sense. Okay. So your moon is also trine with Pluto, and Pluto is about depth. It's about transformation. And so your moon is seeking something. Your moon is seeking transformation. It is wanting to have an experience and clarity and understanding. So, take this time to seek internally, but not to have like this, defined like explanation about what's happening and what's going on. This is just a time to move into it and surrender into your feelings and sensations. And later you can come up with a summary. Don't come up with a summary right now. Okay. Oh, I did want to say, on Thursday, forgot to mention this one. We have Mars square Saturn. So here is Mars, and then here is Saturn. And Mars, that's like what we go for. I think might have mentioned this earlier, but Mars is our drive, our action, our willpower, right? And Saturn is going to just kind of put a little halt on it, slow it down. And so if you feel like, God, I want to go, but then this is getting in the way and that is getting in the way. Remember, I talked about tests earlier. There's just going to be a lot of testing and some challenges and obstacles that come up as you're trying to move forward with something. And it doesn't mean stop. It just means take care of them, resolve them, get through them, put out the fires as you go, and whatever you're working on is going to get cleansed in the process. And this influence, it's challenging, but it's going to be going on until about August 22nd. I can tell you personally, I have gone through so many challenges with my camera and the tech in trying to figure out this forecast, like recordings. I have had to purchase a new camera, and then I'm using a different platform outside of Zoom. I've had all of these hiccups come up, and I have invested a ridiculous amount of time and a ridiculous amount of energy, money to figure out like, okay, what setup is really going to work for me. And I'm almost there. I feel like once I get through this month, I'm going to like have my system down, and it's going to be nice and clean and easy and quality, and because I'm trying to increase the quality of these videos is my intention. But I tell you, wow, when someone who's not technologically savvy, it takes more effort and more energy to figure things out. Get a capture card, get this, get that cord, do this platform. And so, yeah, I'm definitely feeling this impact for sure. Okay, so anyways, let's continue on to Friday. Now, Friday, our moon is still in Libra, which is a pretty nice place for it, and it's got a lot of great conversations happening. So I feel like Friday, amidst everything, we get a little bit of reprieve. our moon is going to breathe just a little more here. So I really like Friday. So if you're done with work, like go enjoy yourself. So moon is trine sun. That's, I'm sorry, not trine. It is sextile. It is sextile the sun. It's the star blue here. And that's a very nice conversation. That's one of the best moon transits when it comes to the sun. So you feel, comfortable and at ease with your emotions, but you also feel confident too. So there's a nice like balance between your feelings and your thoughts happening here. Nice influence. And then we also have moon trine the Mars, and that's a triangle blue over to Mars here. They're exact. Look, moon is at 13 degrees and Mars is at 13 degrees. Moon is also trining Jupiter because they're pretty close, right? But with this trine here, this is going to help you to feel like really driven, very passionate, and very like, into it. You're gonna be a go-getter here. You're gonna feel confident too. So not only are you gonna get that confidence from the sun and the moon, but you're definitely gonna get that confidence, courage, bravery that comes from Mars as well. So you're gonna feel very positive about something. And especially because Jupiter is trining it as well. And Jupiter brings that optimism and positivity and just hope for a great future and a great outcome. So you're going to feel good about what's going on in your life and what you're into. So this also is just a great time for socialization, recreation. So make some fun plans for Friday, whether you have the whole day off or it's after work, like go play, go have a great time. Be with cool people, be with fun people, and yeah, just enjoy yourself. And it's also very a creative time too, very imaginative. So if you feel like working on some kind of artistic project, then this would be a really nice day for that as well. Okay, now Saturday. Saturday is the moon is still in Libra, and there aren't the only one difficult thing with this moon is that Pluto is here. And so Pluto can create some self-sabotage and create some, obsessive behaviors that are more destructive in nature. So just be careful of the compulsion that might happen between the moon and the squaring of Pluto. So maybe like guilt tripping, feeling guilty about something. That could be a difficult thing, but the essential oils I'm going to be giving you will also be supportive for the moon in this aspect too. Okay, so that's the only major hardship there. And then on Sunday, we have moon that moves into Scorpio. Now, moon is at fall here in Scorpio. It is not its favorite position, okay? Scorpio is intense, it's tumultuous, it can be a little bit aggressive. So it's not calm, easy waters. I mean, it's like turbulent storms out in the wide ocean. Like we're talking big crashing waves, right? So that's a lot for the moon. And so there's extremes of emotion here, very intense feelings. We do have, though, one nice aspect is that we have Venus that is in sextile with the moon. So Venus is that planet of relationships and beauty and art. So there is some comfort that is coming from Venus, some harmony. So it's going to kind of smooth it out a bit, bring a little bit of sweeter energy, something calming. It's going to be like a balm for the moon, a nice calming balm for the moon. So be around friends right now. Be around, just relationships that make you feel really good, because that'll help mitigate, the intensity that the moon feels when it's inside of the sign of Scorpio. Okay. All right. So, look, we've got more ahead. So next week, we're going to start feeling the intensity of this right here. Cause just look, we're only 2 degrees apart here, but that Mars and that Jupiter together can be a little explosive in nature too. And so go check and see your chart. Again, we'll, put the link down below so that you can go see how to look up your chart. Make sure you do it under whole sign houses and see what house number that your Mars and Jupiter that's in Gemini is over. What part of your life is this really being impacted and being affected right now? As I said earlier, mine's over my career. So I have to, take advantage of the initiation and the growth, right, and the expansion, but also be very careful of the volatility of this combination as well, because this could be an indicator of blowing things up, and that's clearly what I don't want to do. So anyways, all right, well, please share with us what part of your chart that this is being impacted, and we will discuss more next week. And I do have the blend for you, so I wanted to give you a retrograde recovery blend, and it's going to include these oils: bergamot, Roman chamomile, and lavender. And go ahead and put that in the diffuser, and you're going to do 2 drops of each of bergamot, Roman chamomile, and lavender. And this is going to help with Mercury, smooth out Mercury, making sure that you are really taking your time to overlook, how you're seeing things, how you're thinking about things, how you're viewing things, how you're breaking it down, analyzing it, and what kind of conclusions you're coming up with in the end, because our minds can just take us in a place that is just not true, and that's not right and not accurate. And that's something we have to be cautious of with Mercury in retrograde inside of Virgo. And so we want to make sure we have accurate thinking, and then our systems are working effectively and efficiently, and coming up with the right conclusions, okay, and not have as many miscommunications happening within our relationships or within our work, for example. And if you are traveling, because there could be some hiccups with travel, take this blend with you. Take a travel diffuser, or take your actual diffuser and diffuse this in your Airbnb or in your hotel room as well. So enjoy that. So 2 bergamot, 2 Roman chamomile, and 2 lavender. This is something you could use for this month while Mercury is in retrograde, and you can do it every day if you so desire. I consider this a hygiene blend. If you are part of my communities and follow my work, then you'll understand what a hygiene blend is, because we are just dealing with the current energy of the stars right now, and that isn't anything that is super specific, customized, working on a particular disorder, for example. So it is considered a hygiene blend. Okay, amazing. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you listening, and please make sure to share this to anyone who you feel needs to hear this message, as well as get the benefits of this blend. And if you want more customized readings, we do have a cosmic clarity consultation, so that'll be linked down below. And my Rise and Thrive community, it's a really great way to get the blends that you need, meditations that you need, that are even more specific and customized to our community, as well as what kind of energies that we're working with. Because as empaths, we are very much so impacted and influenced. I think we're like the canary in the coal mine, right? We're easily impacted and influenced by energies that surround us, whether it's through people or our environment, or through what's happening in the cosmos. And in order to work with these energies well, rather than being, so tossed around by them, that is why I have Rise and Thrive, so that you are functioning well with whatever is being presented to you. Take advantage of what's being presented to you as well. So, all right, love you all. We will see you in the next forecast.